Good morning. Thank you for joining today. My name is Melissa, and I'm here to lead you through sunrise stretch. Just a reminder to listen to your body as we practice together for 25 minutes. If any stretches do not work for you, please skip them, come on out and modify. Things that you'll need for your class today is it'll be nice to have a yoga mat and also a block and a blanket if you'd like. The yoga blocker and blanket can be really helpful, just giving a little bit of support in the poses and the stretches if you need it. But of course, if you don't have that, that's perfectly fine. You don't need them to navigate through the practice today. So I was thinking today we could work a little bit on our low back. So as we start with our low back, let's come down onto our backs. And then as you come down onto your back, have your feet planted, have your knees bent, and we're just going to let our spine rest here on the ground for a moment. So give a little bit of a tuck to your tailbone. So that just means lifting up your low back and then just feeling the low back get nice and grounded here on the mat. Bring your knees to your chest. We will hug them in and do a little gentle rock to the right and a gentle rock to the left. And as you're rocking here, trying to let go of any tension that you might be holding onto. Coming into stillness here, let's bring our feet down onto the ground. Have your feet in line with your hips. Knees are bent. Tailbone will tuck and begin to peel your low back from the mat. We'll take our mid back from the mat. Tailbone will tuck. Mid back lowers and low back lowers. Tailbone tucks, low back lifts. Mid back lifts, tailbone tucks, mid back lowers, and low back lowers. Flow with the breath here for a moment. Lengthen as you inhale. Lengthen as you exhale. As you inhale, feel each vertebrae lifting from the mat. Feel the space between the vertebrae lifting from the mat. And then as you lower, feel each vertebrae lowering. And also feel the space between the vertebrae lowering. Let's begin to lower down. So letting the tailbone tuck, feel the upper, mid, and low back connecting to the mat. And soles of the feet will touch. Knees come away from one another, blending in Supta Baddha Konasana, bound angle. We'll be here for a moment. This is a wonderful opportunity to reset the spine. So feel free to bring the hands on the body if you'd like. Maybe one hand to the navel, one hand to the low ribs. And just feeling the eyes softening and closing. Maybe doing a gentle scan of your body. Noticing where you're holding onto tension. And letting that tension go with the exhale. Letting that one go. Let's take our knees into our chest. We can hug them in, arms, hands around knees or shins. And then let's do a little rock to the right and a gentle rock to the left. Relaxing your left foot down onto the mat so your knee can be bent, your foot can be planted. You can also straighten your left leg along the mat as well. Taking your right knee into your chest, and let's begin to create some circles here. Maybe find large circles. Maybe find smaller circles here. So we're just circling here in the hip joint. If it's easier to use one hand, you can do that. And if you had the yoga strap close by and this movement was very challenging, you could always use your yoga strap. You could loop it around the knee and you could create a bit of circling here. Circle in the other direction, reverse. Take a moment to pause. Let's take our knee to our chest. So we're just going to pull it right on in. And this is great because this gives us this really nice low back stretch. Changing up the stretch a tiny bit. Let's take our right knee off to the right a bit. So try to avoid your stomach, avoid your rib cage. And then pull that knee into the underarm area. Let's begin to release. We'll come into a reclining tree position from here. So you'll take the sole of your right foot to the inside of your left leg and maybe press down into your heel and the outer edge of your foot to lift your hips up. Feel that the hips are nice and even, and then just gently feel that right knee relax down. As long as it's not pulling on the shoulders too much, maybe take your hands up and overhead. And just feeling your body melting in this one. Maybe close the eyes. Relax the eyebrows. Relax your jaw. Relax the back of your head. Relax the back of your neck. Relaxing through the shoulders, the arms, the hands. Relaxing the upper, mid, and low back. Relax the legs and relax your feet. And then bringing yourself back to neutral. Let's take that right knee to the left. So we'll bring ourselves into a spinal twist. And as we take this twist, feel free to keep that left leg straight. That just gives a little bit of a different stretch. Might make the twist a little more challenging. Sometimes a spinal twist is very easy and kind of relaxing. And this one just makes it a little bit more challenging. It gives a little bit more of a twist. And if that left leg is straight, it might be a little bit more challenging to get that right shoulder to relax down onto the mat. Let's float ourselves back to neutral. We'll come back onto our backs and reach for your feet. Let's take a happy baby stretch. Flexing your feet, reaching through the heels, and a little rock to the right and a little rock to the left. Now let's try the stretches on the other side. We'll see if it's a little easier, maybe a little bit more challenging. Left knee comes to your chest, and we are going to circle. Large circles here, smaller circles. Circle in the other direction. So we'll just reverse that movement.
Coming into stillness here, let's pull that knee to our chest, using that arm strength, using that shoulder strength to draw that in. So really good for stretching the low back, really good for getting into that hip joint as well. And changing up the stretch. So let's try to avoid our stomach, avoid our rib cage. Take your knee to the underarm area here. The sole of your left foot to the inside of your right leg. Feel free to lift those hips up. Tuck your tailbone, even off your low back. Arms up and overhead. Reclining tree pose. We call this one Supta Vrikshasana. And then, of course, you can always press down into your heel and the outer edge of your foot to lift your hips up so that you can feel even in your low back. You don't want to feel like we're leaning to one side or the other too much. Take this opportunity to connect with your breath. Breathe into the stomach. Feel the navel rise. Feel the navel fall. Breathe into the stomach. Breathe into the ribs. Ribs expanding on the in-breath. Contracting on the out-breath. Take the breath into the stomach, into the ribs, into the chest. Float it on over. Let's try that spinal twist. So keeping your right leg straight. You can always bend it if you'd like. Try to get your left shoulder to relax down if that's possible. Maybe gazing off the left shoulder. Give yourself a moment to close the eyes. And release. Let's take ourselves onto our backs and back on through into that happy baby stretch. So let's reach for the feet, flex, and little rock to the right, and little rock to the left. Trying out a half happy baby pose. So what we'll do is we'll keep our right foot in happy baby. Left foot can relax down. So you can either plant your left foot, have your left knee bent. And in this one, maybe imagine that you could stomp your foot up on the ceiling. So we want to flex our foot, really activate your leg and your foot. Try to feel your right knee relaxing down towards the ground. And just breathing here. So this one is that really nice low back stretch. So good for your hips as well. A lot of times when we do our hip openers, it's so beneficial to the low back. And release. Left foot, let's draw it on up. Maybe notice if it feels easier on this side, maybe a little bit more challenging. So the sides of the body are always so different. Especially when we work with our hips. One hip may be much more open than the other. Great, let's release that. Feet can come out nice and wide to the edges of your mat. Draw your knees to the right, draw your knees to the left. So just do a nice little windshield wipe here, side to side. And then dropping your knees off to one side, let's roll ourselves onto our stomachs. We're just gonna do a nice little flip over onto our bellies. Now, as you come down onto your belly here, let's create a pillow with our hands. Relax your head down. Draw your feet to the right and draw your feet to the left. Since we just did this really nice flow for our backs, we worked a bit with our hips. Let's try to open up the front of the body now. We'll work with our quads. So right hand for your right foot, and then gently pull that foot into your body. Now, if it's very challenging to reach for your foot, you can grab a strap, loop it around the top of your foot, and then just feel that foot pulling into your body. And so important to do quad stretches. So a wonderful opportunity to open up your quad, open up your hip flexor and psoas. And release. Let's relax the foot down. Left hand for your left foot. So let's pull it in. I know these ones aren't always the easiest. They tend to bring up quite a bit of stretching for most people, especially if you find that you're sitting a lot through your day, sitting at the desk or driving. The quads really tend to shorten up. So this is a wonderful opportunity just to find that length. And release. Head relaxes down. Let's create that little windshield wiping movement with our feet, rocking to the right and to the left. Good. Press that up. Let's bring it into table position and hips to the heels. Let's take it into a child's pose. So for child's pose, if you wanted to grab a blanket, you can do that. You can take your knees together, and that will really help you to open up your low back. So knees together and then hips back to your heels. Another option is to take out the knees nice and wide. So you take your big toes to touch, knees come away from one another, and then you'll just let yourself fold down. So you can decide if you would like a leg stretch and a hip stretch, or if you'd like a low back stretch. And then let's just hold this one here for a moment. So the nice thing with giving a pose a hold is you have this opportunity to just soften into the stretch. And you can also allow for the breath to guide you into the pose as well. So with each exhale, just letting yourself move deeper and deeper into the stretch. And with each exhale, feel your hips soften down to the heels. Feel your heart lower down to the mat. And then breathe into your low back, mid back, and upper back. Let's take ourselves into table position.
Knees in line with hips, wrists in line with shoulders. Let's lower the stomach down. Lift up through the heart. Tailbone will lower and crown of the head will lower. And flow through cat and dog stretch for a moment. Lengthen as you inhale. Lengthen as you exhale. As you inhale, feel your shoulders relax from your ears. We'll create that space between the ears and the shoulders. Feel the shoulder blades moving down your back. And then on the exhale, really rounding through the back. So imagining creating space between the shoulder blades. Let's take ourselves into a neutral spine here. Gaze off your right shoulder. So we're going to look back for the right toes. Back to center, we'll realign here. Gaze off your left. And let's flow side to side here. So really working this nice C curve in the spine. Bring yourself back to center. Let's realign here. Nice full breath. Let's lift it to down dog. And shake it out a bit here. So it may feel nice to bend one knee, to bend the other knee. Relax your head, yes. Relax your head now. So in down dog, encouraging an upside down V shape with your body. Feel the backs of the legs lengthening, sitting bones to sky. Spine lengthens, head, neck, relaxes and releases. Toes to the hands, let's come on forward to a fold. And as you come to your fold, let's shake it out a little bit here. So it may feel nice to bend one knee, to bend the other knee. Relax your head, yes. Relax the head now. Coming into stillness here. Let's bring ourselves on up to stand. So you're just going to roll through the spine, one vertebrae at a time. As you come on up to stand, let's take 3 shoulder rolls. Take the shoulders up, back, and down. Full breath in, shoulders up, back, and down. And one more time, breathe in and out. Let's take our hands to the sky. We are just going to take our hands into pearl and then relax your hands at the heart space. Thank you so much for joining today. It's a pleasure to be here with you doing sunrise stretch. I hope you have a fantastic day today, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.